Hi, Brent Haynes with Wood Sound Flutes. I'm so excited to share with you this incredible double flute that we just finished up. And this double flute is made out of Buckeye Burl primarily. That gray wood that you see is Buckeye Burl. Buckeye is from chestnut trees. It's chestnut, buckeye, same tree. And the burl on the buckeye has incredible figure. It's just lots and lots of figure, lots of color. You can see little brown dots and all sorts of movement in the grain. And then as the wood ages, it gets this incredible, beautiful gray color to it. And so all of the color that you see here, with the exception of the turquoise inlays, is natural color of the wood. And so it's really one of the most beautiful woods. It looks a lot like, I have some people say, is that stone? Is that granite? You know, and then they pick it up and it's light, and just kind of amazes them. So I want to kind of introduce, I'm sure many of you have seen me play the double flute before and gone through the whole thing about covering and uncovering holes and all that. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But primarily I just want to play it and let you get an idea of what you can do with a double flute. So. It's really easy to get lost in the double flute, in the sound. It's like playing a big bass flute that just sucks you in, and you want to play and play and play. It's got so much sound and so much capability. I can cover the holes on the bottom. As I'm doing this, I'll tell you a little secret. If you noticed when I was playing that song, the first phrase of the song, I started running out of breath. The reason was I didn't fill my lungs properly. The double flute is more demanding. It's more flute, and it's more demanding on the player to play. So you have to fill your lungs up, or else you will run out of breath frequently. But it's more so than that. You need to cut your phrasing in half. So instead of making a phrase on like this, and that entire set of notes being a phrase, on a double flute, I'm going to have to cut that in half because I need to breathe twice as often. So it would sound like this. So you see that it's easy to get the breath that you need to play the double flute, but you got to fill your lungs. You got to breathe. You got to do full body breathing, breathing deep down into your belly. It's still hard for me to do, particularly on film. It's hard for me to allow my lower body to go out big like it needs to when you take a deep breath. And that's really what you got to be doing when you're playing in order to get the most breath in yourself to be able to put into your flute, is to take those big, deep body breaths. Just let your diaphragm drop, let it fill your abdomen, and your chest is the last area to fill. We can't move our chest very much, but our abdomen, we can move our belly in and out a lot. So if we can use that space to bring the breath into down low, then we can get more breath in. And so same thing when singing. If you've done much singing with the choir, it's the same sort of thing. So this particular double flute is actually was made for somebody, but we can absolutely make you a flute if you would like, either a Buckeye Burl flute or a double classic or whatever you want. I love making the flutes. They're so fun to do. They're a lot more work to make to get this all assembled right so that everything matches and fits together properly. It takes a lot more effort, but the results are just phenomenal. So I hope you enjoy doing that. Now, one more thing I actually want to talk to you about is when you're playing the double flute, once you're done playing, it's really, really important to get the totems at a minimum slid back off of the sound, the air hole here, so that this air hole shows. At a minimum, I want to slide those totems back. Ideally, I'm going to be removing the totems. I'm going to be burnishing the bottom of the totems as I show in my flute care video. That's going to be the ideal scenario. But maybe you're on stage trying to get on and off stage. So if you just slide the totems back, then you allow the flute to breathe, and you're really going to help the flute with its longevity and not crack and things like that. The next step that we want to take is actually holding the flute upside down like this, and I'm going to tip it up on just a slight angle and grab one of my props. When I do this, I like to use a microfiber cloth, and I'll just put that cloth down here. Actually, it's kind of nice to be able to put a little bit here, because I'm going to be blowing out of this flute and I'm going to be blowing out of the bottom flute. Well, actually, I'll do that the other way so you can see it. So I'll hold it like this, and it's just up at a little bit of an angle, and then I'm going to blow really hard. And the purpose of this is by holding it on a little bit of an angle, the water rolls back toward the mouthpiece side of the flute. Then when I blow, that water is going to go forward and down and out that hole, because that's the easiest way. It's the way that the air is directing it to go. It's the way that gravity wants it to go. And so it makes it the best way for getting moisture out of the flute. Now, I haven't been playing very long. We just played a little bit. I didn't get any moisture out of the flute at all, actually. Well, maybe a little bit of breath, but nothing to speak of, not much to speak of. If you're in a humid area, rather than this dry winter Utah air, then you know it's going to wet up a lot quicker on you, and so you'll definitely want to get it dried out. And then you want to just leave it taken apart, let it dry really, really well, and then go ahead and assemble it, leave it on display, play it, whatever else you're going to do with it. Have a wonderful day. If you'd like to talk to me about a double flute, give me a call, 801-822-1415. Or, of course, you can reach me at brent@woodsounds.com.